Hello, hi everyone. I hope you all are doing good. So, in my previous videos, as you already know, we had started with the law of torts, right? So, starting with the definition of law of torts, the basics of law of torts, and how torts are different from breach of contract and breach of trust. We moved on to the general defenses in law of torts, and finally we've come up to specific torts wherein we will be discussing negligence, nuisance, trespass and defamation. Right? So let's just begin. Starting with what is negligence? अब नेग्लिजेंस को इन कॉमन ह्यूमन लैंग्वेज हम लोग बोलते हैं केयरलेसनेस. इंग्लिश में केयरलेसनेस. वो तो बहुत केयरलेस है, वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा केयरलेस. यू माइट हैव हर्ड फ्रॉम योर मॉम सेइंग दैट यू आर वेरी केयरलेस. तो क्या केयरलेस होने के लिए यू कैन बी आस्क्ड टू पे कॉम्पनसेशन? यस और नो? दैट इज व्हाट द क्वेश्चन हियर इज. अब किस तरह की नेग्लिजेंस कैन टर्न आउट टू बी अ टॉर्ट or an offense under tort? That is something that we need to understand. So let's just start. First thing first, negligence. What is the meaning of negligence? Negligence is a breach of legal duty to take care resulting in undesired damage to another based on reasonable foreseeability. Foreseeability का मतलब something which you can think of, or something which you can predict that this might happen in the future, right? So here, what are the essentials in a tort of negligence? Number one is the duty of care. Okay, I have a question here. Let's say this is X. This X is drowning in water, right? And Y, who's just a passerby, I see him drowning in water and I say, I don't have time, I have to go to the office and I have to be in time, right? So I do not save him. Can I be sued for not saving Mr. X from drowning? No, I cannot be. Why? Because I did not have a duty of care towards him, right? So duty of care basically means wherein the defendant has a duty of care against the plaintiff. Right? I hope this is clear to everyone. Second essential is that there should be a breach of duty. That there was a duty of care, but you couldn't fulfill that duty of yours. Now, giving an example to you guys, let's say X again is drowning and this is Z, who is the life instructor. Right? Now, he doesn't take care of X while X is drowning, due to which X suffers major injuries. Right? Can Z be sued here? Yes, Z can be sued here. Why? Because he had a duty of care towards X and he breached that duty of his. Right? And then the last thing is that damage should be caused. Injuries are damages here. Physical injuries are damages which X has suffered. Hence, Z will be liable here. Here I have another example. A doctor leaving surgical tool in the body. Right? Drivers speeding in a market. They all are liable here. Acha, one question. Driver speeding in a market. क्या duty थी driver की यहाँ पे? Why will the driver be liable here? Let's say this is X. He is driving a vehicle. Right? He is the driver who is just asked to drive the vehicle. Now it is a duty of care of any individual who is driving on the road to take care that he is not over speeding, to abide by the traffic rules, and if he or she does not do that, they will be held liable, right, for the negligence and for the damage that they cause. Now, we have a case law which is way too essential for you all to understand, which is Dunn versus Stevenson. What happened in this case law? So, ginger beer with decomposed snail was sold, right? So this company, there was this manufacturer who sold ginger beer, right? And in this bottle of ginger beer, after the plaintiff drank the entire ginger beer, he saw that at the bottom there was a dead snail lying. This is a dead snail lying at the end of the bottle, right? Now, he simply sued the manufacturer. Why? Because according to him, the manufacturer had a duty of care towards the customer and just by being negligent or just being careless, they expose their customers to a possible damage that might have happened, that might have occurred due to this dead snail and the consumption of such a beer, right? So here it was established, the principle of neighbor was established, the neighbor principle was established, and it was said that the manufacturer is liable to pay to the plaintiff here, right? I hope that is clear. Why? Because एक तो duty of care था to take care of the product that is being manufactured, and if the product has been manufactured in a negligent manner, there is a breach of duty and the damage has been caused to the plaintiff because he has consumed that beer. Hence, here the case of negligence has been established, right? Again, there was another case law which was Corporation of Delhi versus Subhagwanti. Right, Corporation of Delhi versus Subhagwanti. So, despite of asking the municipal corporation to repair the wall clock tower again and again because it was in such a condition that it might collapse someday, despite of the repeated complaints by the people to the municipal corporation to repair it, the municipal corporation being negligent did not do so, and they did not fulfill their duty, rather breaching it, due to which the clock tower collapsed, right? Here, the Municipal Corporation of Delhi was held liable for all the damages that the people suffered due to the collapse of the tower, right? Now, next is Blyth versus Birmingham, right? Waterworks. So, Blyth versus Birmingham Waterworks. What happened in this case was that defined negligence as an omission to do what a reasonable man would do. So, this case said that when a reasonable man is supposed to do something, right, and he does not do that thing reasonably, such an omission is also known as a negligence. For example, a reasonable man is supposed to wear helmet while he is riding a two-wheeler. Right? That is what a person is obliged to do. And in case the person is not doing so, he has omitted his duty. Right? He is committing an omission. Right? So this will rather be a case of negligence. Right? I hope that is clear to everyone. So let's just revise negligence again. So what is negligence? Negligence is nothing but it is a breach of legal duty to take care, which results in undesired damage to the other person, right? And the undesired damage to the other person, it depends upon the foreseeability of such damage, right? Now, for example, I'll give you an example here. Let's just take the Donovan versus Stevenson case again. So, there was a snail in the bottle, right? So the person who drank the beer from the bottle which had a dead snail in it will get the compensation just because the duty of care of the manufacturer towards the consumer proved that there has been a breach of duty. But let's say the bottle was kept on the table, right? The bottle was kept on the table by the plaintiff. Plaintiff drank the entire beer and left the bottle on the table. This is a table where he left this bottle, right? He left this bottle. Now, C, who came to have food there, he sat there on the table and he saw that a dead snail is there inside the bottle, right? Now, C, having seen that, he starts vomiting. Right, he starts vomiting, and just because of multiple vomits, what happens is that his stomach starts, his muscles in the stomach start contracting, due to which he falls ill and he goes to the hospital and he gets a long medical bill for himself. Right? Can he ask the manufacturers of the beer bottle to pay for his medical expenses or compensate for his medical expenses? No, because nobody could have imagined that such a scenario will take place, right? कि ये बॉटल कोई ऐसा इंसान देख लेगा जो इतना सेंसिटिव होगा कि उसको इतनी वॉमिट्स होंगी कि उसको हॉस्पिटलाइज किया जाएगा उसके लिए, राइट? हेंस दिस situation cannot be foreseeable, and hence even if there is a breach of duty in this case, there is no foreseeability, and hence C cannot ask for compensation as there is no negligence on part of the manufacturer in case of C, right? I hope that is clear to everyone. Just take a look at it, be quick, just go through it once again. So this was a fit case of negligence, right? Now we will be moving ahead and we will be doing the next thing, which is nuisance, right? All right, so let's just start. Nuisance. What is nuisance? Nuisance बहुत बारी ना हमने टीचर्स को बोलते हैं सुना है, प्लीज डोंट क्रिएट न्यूसेंस इन द क्लास, प्लीज डोंट डू दिस इज टर्निंग इनटू न्यूसेंस. But what exactly is nuisance? This is what we need to understand. So see, nuisance means unlawful interference with the use or enjoyment of land or rights, right? So the types are public nuisance and private nuisance, right? Types are public and private. Okay, so now पब्लिक न्यूसेंस क्या होता है? जहां पे कोई भी ऐसा केस हो wherein the public is being interrupted to make use of a public property, right? Similar is the case with private property wherein the individual is being stopped or is being interrupted in the use or enjoyment of his land or his rights, right? Now, what are the essentials? Number one, unreasonable interference. अगर रीजनेबल इंटरफेरेंस है तो वो न्यूसेंस नहीं बनता है, राइट? अगर रीजनेबल इंटरफेरेंस है तो वो न्यूसेंस नहीं होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट्स से कि ए ने अपने घर में कारपेंटर को बुलाया जस्ट टू रिपेयर हिज ओल्ड वुडन attic, राइट? और एन ओल्ड वुडन almirah ऑफ हिज, राइट? ए ने कारपेंटर को बुलाया बी को टू रिपेयर हिज old wooden almirah. Now B, while he was repairing the almirah, made a lot of noise, right? And A, being disturbed by that noise, goes to the court and sues B for nuisance, stating that he is making a lot of noise. That is why I am not able to concentrate in my work and my head has started aching. Hence, I want compensation from B. Can B be held liable to compensate in this case? Can B be liable to compensate in this case? No, B cannot be held liable. Why? Because A himself called him, and it is a reasonable restriction here, right? Reasonable interference in his enjoyment of land, right? Then, with the use or enjoyment of property, right? So, if such an interference is with the use and enjoyment of property, then only it will amount to nuisance. Last, proof of damage has to be there. What kind of damage has happened due to the nuisance that has been made? So the examples here are smoke, loud noise, sewage overflow. All these are cases of nuisance, right? So now I will be telling you the cases which are important for you in order to understand nuisance, right? So the last case law is Halsey versus Esco Petroleum Co. Limited. So in this case, what happened was that the plaintiff complained of smell, noise and oily smut emitted from defendant's oil depot that damaged his washing, right? Right? So what happened was that Halsey said that just because of this petroleum depot, a lot of noise, a lot of smoke and a lot of dust damages his clothes and is hampering his use of land, right? So the court in this case said that factory fumes which actually interrupt the usage of one's property may lead to nuisance, and this is a fit case of nuisance, right? Same was the case of Ram Singh versus Babulal, in which the plaintiff complained of dust from the brick machine, राइट उसने अपने घर के पास एक ब्रिक मशीन की कंप्लेन की, स्टेटिंग कि जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस ब्रिक मशीन आई एम नॉट एबल टू ब्रीथ प्रॉपर्ली एंड देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ environmental pollution being there, hence this is a fit case of nuisance. And yes, it was a fit case of nuisance. Why? Because his interference or his enjoyment of free and clean environment was being hampered here. Next, Sturgis versus Brigman. What happened in this case was Sturgis versus Brigman. So what happened was doctor distributed by machinery noise. So doctor distributed I said. Doctor who was disturbed by the machinery noise. Right? So here in this case a doctor was being disturbed by the machinery noise, sued the defendant, and the court said that if such a case is being seen, it will be a fit case of nuisance. I hope this is clear. Quickly go through it. Again, I have a case for you. Let's say this is X. He lives near a stadium, right? He lives near a stadium and every other day the ball falls into his balcony from the stadium, right? So it is a cricket stadium and every day when the people play there, the ball simply lands up in his balcony. X, being really irritated by that, goes to the court and sues the stadium authorities, stating that this is a fit case of nuisance because I am getting disturbed by such frequent events. So what will happen in this case? Will it be a fit case of nuisance or not? Will it be a fit case of nuisance? Yes, it will be a fit case of nuisance, and this is what the court said in Miller versus Jackson. Miller versus Jackson, wherein the court said that even socially useful activities, right? Socially useful activities, if it subsequently interfere in your usage of land or with your rights, it will be a fit case of nuisance, right? I hope it is clear to everyone. Again, there was one more case of Municipal Corporation of Ratlam. There was another case which was MC Ratlam versus Vardichan, wherein the people, it is Vardichan, right? So here in this case, the people complained against the smell and the mosquito breeding due to the tanneries, right? Due to the tanneries and the untreated waste from such unsanitary conditions, right? The open drains and the unsanitary conditions. Open drains, unsanitary conditions, and mosquitoes and all, right? So people complained of that and they sued the MC Ratlam, stating that they are not performing their duty of making sure that everybody should receive clean environment and they have the right to clean environment. In this case, the court said that yes, it is a fit case of nuisance and the MC Ratlam is responsible to compensate the people for the same. Right? I hope it is clear to everyone. I hope nuisance is clear to everyone. Now we'll be moving ahead and we'll be discussing trespass. What is trespass? Trespass is one of the most common offenses which you guys might have heard of. So what is trespass? It means direct, unlawful, intentional interference with possession of land, goods of a person. And it is actionable per se, that is, there is no need to prove that there has been damage to you, right? Trespass to land, trespass to goods, trespass to person, battery, false imprisonment, they all fall in the same category and you need not prove that there has been a damage which you have incurred due to such trespass, right? What are the essentials here? Number one, there should be a direct interference. Secondly, without lawful justification. And lastly, against possession and not ownership. Possession means who is the owner? Owner is the actual person who has authority over that land. Who is in possession? Possession means a person who at the time of the act being done has the authority over that land, right, or that property. Now, example here is entering someone's land, a fit case of trespass. If somebody enters your house without your permission, that is a fit case of trespass. You need not prove that there has been a damage which has been caused to you, but you can simply say that this is trespass. Next, snatching of goods, that is also a trespass to you. Rather, it is a fit case of battery, right? Then, wrongful confinement, again, a fit case of trespass here. So, here are a few case laws. Entick versus Carlington, wherein the government officials enter the house unlawfully, right? Though government officials do have statutory authority, but they cannot enter anybody's house without any reason, right? Hence, it was a fit case of trespass. Next is Bird versus Holbrook. What happened here was that the spring guns injured a trespasser. So, a person in his backyard, he had installed spring guns, right? So, this was A who entered his house and was injured by the spring guns, right? So, here the court said that the use of spring guns is excessive force and it is not allowed. Hence, the person who had installed spring guns in his courtyard will be liable to pay for the injury suffered by the trespasser, right? Then, Basile versus Clarkson. In this case, what happened? Basile versus Clarkson, what happened was that accidentally mowing neighbor's grass. See, if there is cattle in your field and accidentally they go to the other person's field and they start eating grass out of there, it will be a case of trespass, right? It will be a case of trespass. Why? Because यहाँ पे डैमेज तो प्रूफ करना नहीं होता है. अगर दूसरे का कैटल आपके लैंड में आके घास खा रहा है तो आप ये नहीं कहोगे कि मुझे घास का बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान हुआ. You cannot say that, right? Moreover, that is irrelevant here. Why? Because you do not need to prove that damage, right? So this is what you need to understand, and these were the cases for trespass. I hope trespass is clear to everyone and there is no doubt. Now, moving ahead to defamation. Now, what is defamation? Defamation हम लोगों ने criminal laws में already पढ़ा हुआ है. Now, what is defamation? Defamation is nothing but when a person's reputation is in question, right? But defamation होता कब है? क्या essentials होते हैं? और क्या ये civil law है या फिर criminal offense है? Civil offense है या criminal offense है? See, it is both a criminal as well as a civil offense, and you can be punished as well as you can be asked to compensate the other person in case proved guilty of defamation, right? Now, what is defamation? So, any false statement, ठीक है, that injures the reputation in the society is said to be a defamatory statement. So, important क्या है हमारे लिए? It should be a false statement. Second, what are the types of defamation? One is libel. So, if such defamation has been made in any of the forms which becomes permanent. For example, a letter which has been written. For example, a mail that has been typed or a blog that has been posted. Right? They all are permanent means. And slander. Slander means temporary. Any word spoken. Right? They become slander. Any transient form of or any transient mode of such defamation will lead to slander. You can remember it. S is for short term, L is for long term. Right? Now, what are the essentials of defamation? Number one, the statement has to be defamatory. Right? What do I mean by the statements have to be defamatory? Defamatory statements वो होती हैं जो वो potential रखती हैं कि वो किसी की reputation को harm कर सके. For example, if you are saying that this woman is of a loose moral character, this is a defamatory statement, right? Now, next, reference to plaintiff. So here it has to be very clear that the statement is made to the plaintiff itself. For example, if I say that all women, or if I say that all men have loose moral character, so can any one single man stand up and say that, oh, you are against us and I'm going to sue you for defaming us? No, here it has to be a reference which has to be made to the plaintiff himself, right? Then publication to third person. Publication का meaning समझना बहुत जरूरी है. Publication means knowledge of a third person. Knowledge of a defamatory statement to a third person, right? For example, अगर मेरे और मेरे फ्रेंड के बीच में कोई लड़ाई हुई एंड हम लोग एक रूम में आपस में बात करें, हम दोनों ने एक दूसरे को बहुत डेरोगेटरी चीजें बोली, दिस विल नॉट टर्न इनटू defamation. But as soon as somebody enters and he listens that I am saying something derogatory to my friend, तो third person की knowledge में आ गई, it will turn into defamation, right? अब एक example देखो, newspaper allegation of corruption, gossip about unchastity, they all are defamatory in nature, right? But एक चीज याद रखना, anything said in the parliament or during a judicial proceedings or during the judgment made by a judge, they will never turn into defamation, right? I hope that is clear. Now, there are the cases of defamation. So, D.P. Chaudhary versus Manjulata. So, false news of a girl eloping away from her home, right? Eloping का मतलब भाग जाना, एक लड़की के भाग जाने की गलत खबर आई थी, जो कि एक फिट केस है for defamation, right? Next, Ram Jethmalani versus Subramaniam Swamy. False affidavit allegations, they also lead to defamation. Then Sim versus Stretch, define defamation as lowering reputation, anything which is capable to lower the reputation of a person, right? That is supposed to be defamatory statement. TV Ramasubba Iyer versus AMA Mohindeen, so false trade circular, it also leads to defamation. Then Mahendra Ram versus Harnandan Prasad, in this case defamatory letter was read by a third party, the publication was established, hence defamation was proved in this case, right? Now one thing which you guys need to remember here is कि यहाँ पे आपको क्या damage हुआ है वो important नहीं है, rather the probability of a statement being defamatory enough or the statement having the capability of lowering your reputation is enough to prove the defense, to prove the offense of defamation. I hope defamation is clear to everyone. Now, yeah, so that was enough for today, right? So I had explained you some of the offenses under the law of torts, and I've explained you the essentials and the case laws relating to it. I want you to go through the video very clearly, right? And if you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section below. I'll be glad to get back to you guys. Right, so with this, I end the class here, and I'll make sure in the next video I clear your doubts which you will mention in the chat box, and also I'll come up with new topics and something new for you guys. So with this, I'll see you guys in the next class. Bye-bye, take care.